was like 2 years ago. I can't use that.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone.
Wanna-
Because we still have new members, I'd love to do another round of introductions. And if you could also tell me, so let's do name, what your interest is in the CCD, why you're here, and, if you had to pick today, beach, mountain, or city. And we'll just pick one of those. We'll go right around. I will start. I'm Nina. I am the chair of the CCD at the moment. I joined because I am an artist and I'm interested in all kinds of cultural happenings in town. And I thought it was a good way to get involved in town after moving back, after being away for quite a few years. And today I would probably pick city. I think city, because it's starting to feel like fall and I feel like city would be fun. Let's go around this way and we'll get Holly at the end. On Zoom.
Cool. Cody Clark. I joined a couple of years ago, just trying to make the city better in any way I could. And I'm gonna go with mountains.
I'm Laverne Stockwell. I've been involved in city boards and commissions for about 40 years now. And what did you say the last part was?
City, mountain, or beach.
Oh, mountains.
So Sundance Campbell, this is my second meeting, I think, having missed one early in the summer. Interest comes from, I guess, doing some volunteer work with Knobscott Theater and wanting to kind of get more broadly involved in the entire art scene downtown. I think it's very vibrant. I just want to be some small piece of that. And I'm gonna go with actually Beech Mountain, North Carolina is what the first thing that came to mind. BEECH, which is where I lived before moving to Maine 30 years ago.
I'm Barbara McDade. I'm retired librarian, organist. I joined the commission because I truly believe that the arts are an economic driver, and I would like to see Bangor become an arts capital in Maine. And I take the city today, fall. You should be in the city, out walking around.
I'm Sam Scapani. Excuse me. I joined the commission a couple months ago. I don't know. I lost track of time. And I joined because I know a lot of really great artists in Bangor, and I'm curious how public administration facilitates sort of the success of artists. And I've been learning a lot, so it's really fun. And I would pick mountains, but there has to be a lake.
I'm Kelly Chanel. Why did I join the committee? Well, I'm a musician and my son's getting older, he's a senior now. I wanted to do something more for me and starting the next chapter of my life. And it's important to me to continue my love for music. And yeah, so I'd pick the beach anytime.
I'm Cal Elmore. I'm a retired art teacher. I joined the commission because I've always felt strongly about advocating for the arts in the community, and I thought this was another way to do that. Beach, but not because I want to lie in the sun. Beach because I love the ocean. I just need to be near it.
Sarah, then Holly, then Anne.
Okay. I'm Sarah McClellan. I'm the assistant in the Community and Economic Development Department and staff support for this commission. And I will also always choose the ocean any time of year, no matter what.
My turn. I'm Holly Adams, and I am the vice chair of this commission. And I joined a few years ago now. I joined after moving to Bangor. I'd only been there a year or two, and I just really wanted to get involved in my community and give back. I'm a writer, and like Barbara said, I think the arts are a huge economic factor and driving force in this community. And I would normally say beach until like a week ago, but now I agree. It feels like fall and now mountains. But I like Sam's answer of there has to be a lake at the mountains.
I'm Ann Krieg. I'm the Director of Community and Economic Development for the city, and I happily staff this commission because I agree that the arts are an economic driver. People want to live in places where there's a vital arts community, where people care about how things look and how things you know, everything from our parks to our museums. So I really feel that this is an important part of the
Thanks, everyone. So,
and city, I would say city.
yeah, right,
City girl.
I would hope so. I wasn't in a city. Small one, but still technically a city. Great. Does anybody have any questions on the meeting minutes from August? They are in our packet. And motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I second.
Everyone in favor?
Mhm.
Great. Moving right along. We have a kind of an unusual order today, for timing reasons. So we'd like to ask, Dr. Reardon's team to come up to the table. Because this is a public meeting and it's being recorded and on Zoom, you just need to sit at the table to speak so that I can pick you up well. So we're gonna slide right around a little bit, make some space for you. So that you can come right on up to the table.
It's taking up too much.
Is one of you gonna be in charge of your slideshow? Or slideshow?
How we have it
Yeah.
is we'll have one person doing the introduction, someone doing like just the middle portion about like some of the science history. And then there will be the last person who will just do like questions, any information missed.
Do you want me to push through the slides for you? I can finagle it either way, so just whatever is easier for you.
So yeah, I think if I just get a little motion should be fine.
Yeah,
Just a little
that's good.
motion? All right, okay.
Go ahead.
Everyone's prepared, we can get started.
We all sit in one panel.
All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Merchant. This is,
I'm Amanda Levesque. And I'm Maddie Humphrey.
and we're just a couple handful of students from the University of Maine Orono doing our capstone, History 498. And for this project, we have decided with the advice from our professor and our sort of like team leader, Professor Liam Reardon, focusing on the Kenduskeag Trail. So as many of you are familiar, being Bingo residents, the trail has been around ever since around the 1970s, just as seen from many other projects that was related to US history and US pride in local history. And you will notice, like you've probably noticed these signs all throughout the city. This was, this was created from a grant from the LL Bean, which I've grown very familiar with, given that I'm from the city of Bath, which is very down south. So if you've ever seen a Bathian, now you have. It is from this the LL Bean grant that is given a great opportunity for having these signs being found all throughout. And from this slide right here, you see like a rough, just a rough sort of trail being given to show how far reaching it is from like one end of the city, like just around the center of it, like just getting to the Kenduskeag stream. And then I will have my colleague take over from here.
So, hi, my name is Amanda.
essentially what we want to do is we want to work on 9 of the interpretive signs. Those are the dimensions up there. That is the one by the Nuremberg Parkway, by the Liberty statue, the one that is empty. And we plan on working on these signs, reworking the information that is on there, trying to tell a different story than what has maybe been previously told. These signs are obviously, the one missing was most likely due to some form of vandalism, pulled off, nobody really knows. But there have been others that are just in dire need of being repaired and refurbished, to tell the history of this city. Now, mind you, I am not from Maine at all, so I am very new to learning about this, so bear with me, please. What's next? But one of the slides, the signs we want to take care of is around where the Esteban Gomez Memorial removal was removed from in 2020. I am from the south coast of Massachusetts, which has a very large Portuguese American population. I myself am Portuguese and Irish. So I found this part very exciting and interesting because one of my big fascinations in history is telling a different story, and telling difficult histories in an accessible way. And this is a part of the project that I think most of the people in the class, including Professor Reardon, are very fascinated in talking about and discussing and telling the story of the Penobscot and Passamaquoddy people and Esteban Gomez in a way that is not as seemingly problematic, because obviously it was removed for very understandable reasons. But and this is also another sign that we want to take care of is the Indian Regatta quote, or the Kenduskeag canoe racing. Which most of our information is from diaries, scrapbooks, sketchbooks. And this is another big thing that we are looking into redoing the information on, talking more about, seeing what we can do to tell the story of what is going on.
Yes, sorry. So we have like a list of events, which may look familiar to you guys because you are involved, the commission's involved with a bunch of them. But most of them are like in October, like the Arttober, and then I believe the Sidewalk Art Festival is the 2 events that you're involved with, the commission's. What? I think that's, oh, the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, I'm so sorry. But so these are just like opportunities for us to like get what we're doing out there, and get support and input from like the public, which is really important because this is a project for the public. The public will be benefiting from this, and it's important to not only our class, but just people who enjoy like history or art or love Bangor. So it's really important that we get input and everything. And there are some events like the Archives and Museums Conference, and then our final presentation where if you're not already going, we would love, to see you there. And so hopefully you guys support our mission as well. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for our visitors?
I do. How much do you think the project is going to cost, and how many funds have you already accrued? If Liam will have to come to the table.
I think we had discussed that subject earlier. Because this project is so early in its stages, and because Professor Reardon has already been in touch with Parks and Rec, the numbers of how much we're looking at is still unsure, but we are still working on what that's going to look like in terms of materials, manpower, and as well as like the timescale of just how much this project is going to need and when is this going to happen.
Okay.
But
Right now, it is mostly just doing the research, getting the public input of what people want to see on these signs as they're worked on. And actually creating a template and mock-up of the sign so that when it does get to that point, we will have the information all ready to put onto said signs.
Got it. So the first bullet point, the funds to support the cost of creating and installing the signs is an ask in our notes that we have. That's like not in the immediate future. That's something that you guys still have to figure out.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what you're asking of us today is general support of your project and also whether we are okay with you having a table at our October 1st
Yes.
October event. You were right, the Sidewalk Art Festival is not run by us, but it's sort of in connection because it's happened during October and it's a pretty big arts festival. Any questions about that? Any concerns about these three or maybe other classmates of yours having a table at October?
There are 9 of us. We were the only 3 that were able to be here this morning. We're hoping that if we do end up tabling, there will be more of us so that everybody can be involved and get the public input, because if you keep seeing the same 3 faces, it's not really a class effort. It's the 3 of us having that effort. And we want it to definitely be all 9 of us working together. And I know it's just because it's early morning on a Friday and people do have 8 a.m. classes. So we are just hoping that there is a way for us to possibly have a table to get public input, talk to people, understand what people want to see from something that we're working on, because it shouldn't just be something we're proud of. It should be something that the city and the people that live in the city are proud of.
Sure. Have you thought about how you're going to present information at a table since you won't be able to have a PowerPoint presentation that day? Will you have handouts? Are you taking paper surveys? Are you asking people to go online to fill out a survey?
We had an idea of doing sort of like little slips of paper, like votes of what people would want to see, something that's a little bit more interactive, have pictures out of different parts of the trail, the history of the trail, probably in some sort of easy made pamphlet that can be handed out so that people are more aware if they're not already aware. I'm sure this is one of those types of things that some people know of, some people don't, especially if they're newer to the city. I had no idea that this was a thing and I've walked past it multiple times being here for 4 years. So I feel like there are others in my situation or like Maddie's who live closer. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely walked by and tried to read that Norumbega Parkway sign and couldn't because it's not legible anymore. Any other questions? Yes.
As somebody who walks pieces of the trail a lot, I'm excited that you're taking this work on. Not only because physically those signs are past their prime, but the idea of having a broader conversation, like you mentioned, through a different lens, maybe a broader lens is important and exciting. So this question is not one that you can answer in a minute or two, so sorry to ask it, but I wonder, could you touch on maybe a few of the tenets of how you have this broader conversation? Thinking specifically of the Gomez Memorial that was removed, how do you broaden that conversation, that difficult conversation, in a way that is respectful, accurate, things like that?
We want to do this.
I feel like a routine. Yeah.
I've talked.
No, you're fine. At least in terms of these sort of difficult conversations, I know when it's something that you're just learning about, and like in like previous past, like this was like the Gomez Memorial, like that was erected. So there was some people who are like had a perception of this is okay, just normalized. But now we have entered, the 21st century, and we've learned and, have moved and grown from that sort of perception. At least to me, I feel like this sort of like larger this larger project, it represents a way of giving people a chance to learn about, like these preconceived notions and being able to better themselves, because, a memorial as such as that, I mean, learning about it, for me, I find it very important. So it represents just like a broader way of just going like a better direction for as Mainers, as people who are from Bangor to have like a better better understanding of history, whether it's, you know, good or bad, it should still be acknowledged.
Yeah, great, thank you very much.
Just, I'm sorry, I was there actually when the people from Massachusetts came up and brought the Gomez statue, and at that time, they told us that the pronunciation was Gamache. Can you tell me how it should be?
I've never heard it pronounced that way,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I am from a very Portuguese area. I live close to
Alright.
New Bedford and Fall River, so I feel like that might be a dialectical thing, but I've only ever heard it as Gomes, or I've only ever heard it as Gomes, not Gomez. No, Gomes.
Thank you.
Sorry for the mispronunciation.
It's okay. That's it. Everybody thinks that it's Spanish, but it's very different than Spanish.
Right, fair enough, thank you.
In reference in that a lot of us in the Bangor area mispronounced it.
Oh, yeah, I
And so therefore, we're Mainers if we say air, and you can't do it, say, you gotta breathe in order to say it.
I mean, to be fair, like the Siri on Google Maps says Bangor, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like it's justification.
Is your capstone a semester long or year long project? And if it's only a semester long, do you have a succession plan?
It's
just a semester, and we are not sure yet. That is a question for Professor Reardon. We don't know yet.
Because it sounds like a lot of what's going to be happening over the next few months, what you're asking of the committee is support on like idea gathering and stuff, which is great. And I think for any public art project, public cultural project is important, but it does sound like that's not going to be finished by the time that.
Oh.
Installation.
Most likely not.
But you are hoping to gather the information and draw up the templates and
Yes,
maybe
we-
have some mock-ups of the plaques,
Yes,
um,
our
ready by.
plan is to present those mock-ups of the plaques
Mhm.
at our final presentation on December 11th, which is what we'll be doing at the Bangor Public Library.
Mhm.
And that's why we would love for anybody who can make it to be there, because that will be sort of the last stage before they most likely are. We go into the funding process, and I'm sure if any of us are able to continue that process, we would all love to, even though we'll be done with the capstone all by then. But as of yet, that's to be foreseen what happens afterwards.
When are you graduating? Or most of the, or what year are most of the students in the class?
2025, I believe. So this coming
So
May.
you're seniors,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. I just had one idea, because I'm the liaison to the downtown, Bangor partnership. You may want to, it would be cool to collaborate with them because they're the organization that's doing the sidewalk art festival in October. That and talking to the Wabanaki people here in Bangor.
I mentioned that.
That would be
yes.
really good to get, for, you said you wanted to kind of take the conversation, and that would be, not only respectful, but just to get different ideas, so.
That was
That was
something
just
that
my
we
suggestion.
had just mentioned actually earlier while we were all meeting this morning, was I mentioned talking to the Passamaquoddy and Penobscot people.
The Wabanaki Center is right downtown now, so it's, yeah, it'd be worth a trip.
Mhm.
So, all right, that's it.
Great, thank you. Any other last questions, concerns? Thoughts? I
No,
think,
making an observation, he's been sitting over there making notes, and so believe me, these kids will be well prepared when they
Yes.
come. I've worked
I
with
think
them
so.
on this.
No,
for 7
professor
years.
can't not talk.
Right.
Proud of my
really
three
well.
students.
hold
We had our
back.
first class meeting on Wednesday, so they have
Oh.
just learned
Oh.
about this project.
Okay.
And
Oh, wow.
3 of the 9 students were able to come first thing Friday morning,
That's
so I
great.
really thank the trio of them for coming today. I want to just follow up on a couple of things that were mentioned. First, the question about how do you do a more inclusive history is a really important one. And what this seminar reflects is an emphasis on what's often called public history. And it's a pretty big shift from what academic historians typically do. And a big part of meaningful public history is sharing authority about the past. So something that scholars are not super comfortable with. I was really trained to go to an archive, become an expert, and then tell people the way things are. And so this seeking of public input is really a crucial part of what we're hoping to do with the way that the trail gets redesigned. And we really see the Cultural Commission as potentially having a big partnership role in that. We could really use your help. And so in particular, that final slide with some dates on it was a little obscured. But October 1st, your October event, would be a great place for us to be present to sort of begin this process of seeking input. And as we all know, a big challenge, even in a small place like Bangor, is how do you get your message out, right? How do people even know that we're working on this? And we feel like if we can communicate it effectively, we'll get a lot of people will come out of the woodwork and say, oh, it's driven me crazy that stupid sign has been broken for 5 years and I could never read it. So, you know, attending and having a small role at your October 1 event would be great. And the other sort of big date in my mind for this group would be asking if any of the commissioners would be willing to join us staffing a table at the Downtown Bangor Arts Festival. It's an all-day event from 9 to 5. You know, I cannot ask my students to sit there all day long. I actually am going to be hosting a scholar from out of town. I will not be able to be there, but I was hoping that a couple commission members, a couple of students could, you know, we do like a dry run on October 1st at your event, and then October 5th, we develop our technique for soliciting public input and maybe collectively staff that table all day long on Harlow Street. So that would be a very tangible ask of the commission if you're willing to see if a couple members could join us as part of staffing that table.
I would be there.
Great. We don't need an answer this moment, but we
Yeah, why
can
don't
follow up by email and
Yeah,
figure out
follow up.
schedules and go from
Absolutely.
there.
I
Yeah,
feel like it's a cultural assets committee ask.
Potentially, yeah.
Right, like.
but I think anyone from the commission could potentially volunteer, and maybe we can do some sort of a schedule with time chunks.
Yeah. We did meet with Betsy Lundy this morning to
Perfect.
talk about
Great.
it, and she
I was gonna
said,
say.
I want the cultural commission more involved, so.
She would say that.
Yeah.
We also
Great.
have another really big date, which is October 4th, which is the Maine Archives and Museums Conference that we'll be going to in Lewiston. The McGillicuddy Center is going to graciously cover our costs to go to Lewiston and have a panel there to talk about our project. And so that is something that we just wanted to make aware to the commission that this isn't just something that we're bringing to you. This is something we're bringing to a very wide audience because Bangor is an important city in Maine. And because I'm not from here, I didn't realize how important it was until I got here. Call that ignorance, call that being from.
Has anyone on the commission attended the Maine Archives and Museums Conference? So this is the professional organization for staff at archives, museums, libraries across the state. So it's, I think they have like 5 concurrent sessions all day. And it's really a great way to sort of get up to speed on a wide range of sort of cultural commission activities around the state. So if anyone, you know, you can just Google Maine Archives and Museums. I think it's still the early bird period for registration. And if you do come to the conference, we hope you'll come to our session on Block B from 11 to 12.
All right. Well, I think generally we support your project as a commission. We are excited about it. I think it's really great for the town. It also sounds like a really great history class project. So overall, it's really exciting. We'd love to have you at our October 1st event. And then we'll follow up on the Sidewalk Arts Festival, see if we can drum up some volunteer time. Great for you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank
Good questions.
Thank you.
Can I really quick?
Yeah.
Hi, would they be eligible to apply for a grant in our October cycle?
I don't know. This might be an Ann question. I think so because the project is happening in Bangor and the university is a non.
Yeah, it's on the
Profit?
city property.
Right. So I think so. We have grants. We can send you more information about the grant cycle. The applications just opened. I mean, they're always on the website, but the due date is October 1st for the fall cycle. Happy to answer questions after the meeting or via email. But yeah, that's a good idea.
And if not in the fall, the spring, if they have
Right.
a more accurate, numbers of what it's gonna cost by the spring, you could ask in the spring if not ready for the fall.
We had a grant for materials for the tabling though. Oh, I know, it's after October 1st.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks
All right,
again.
thank you
Really
so
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
Do I have permission to move around the order of the agenda? Can I do that? Okay, cool. So we're gonna switch things around a little bit, because our friends from Bangor Beautiful have been very patiently waiting over there. And we can do our internal stuff after. So why don't we call you three up to the table now so that we can discuss your projects? Okay. Thanks.
Which first?
Use both at the same time. and,
Okay.
My name's Greg Edwards. I'm the co-founder of Bangor Beautiful. We have Annette Dodd, who is also co-founder, and Jill Fredericks, who is a student at the University of Maine. We have two projects to present. Both would be on public buildings and would be public art, so we need commission approval. We've got one-page memo on both, and then a more elaborate proposal that was sent to Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife on the river ecology one. So let's start with Jill's project, the Penobscot River Ecology Mural. Would you like to give a brief overview?
Yeah, sure. I could explain more. So my name is Jill Federick. I'm a graduate PhD student at the University of Maine, and I study freshwater mussels. And a big hurdle to studying freshwater mussels is a lot of people don't know or care about these creatures, or have never heard of them before. However, we have 10 species in the state of Maine, 3 of which are threatened, and generally freshwater mussels are very imperiled. 70% of species are imperiled. Why do we care? Is because these guys are our natural filterers. If you've ever had an aquarium at home, it's got a filter set right on it, right? And what happens if that filter breaks? The water gets green, it gets gross, it's nasty, and sometimes if you have fish in there, they can die. So in natural systems, in the Penobscot River, in the Kenduskeag Stream, freshwater mussels are those natural filters. And they're very, very important to people, keeping our rivers clean and clear, to fish. They allow them to see their prey and go about their day in a clear and awesome environment. And they're just generally misunderstood. Lack of public knowledge is the second biggest challenge conservation managers have in protecting these species, secondary only to limited funding. So as part of my research, I was interested in how do we highlight these animals, and how do we highlight our local ecosystems in a way that's accessible to people, can draw in community members and create engagement and communicate science to a broad audience. So that led me to Bangor Beautiful, and I've had such an amazing time working with you guys and getting these ideas off the ground to solicit funding for a river ecology mural. And a mural of this nature would highlight native freshwater mussels and native freshwater fish. The state of Maine is also home to, I think, like 11 migratory fish species, some of which were plummeting. But after the recent dam removals on the Penobscot River are now recovering, which is an amazing success story. So this mural would highlight freshwater mussels and fish. We're working with Bangor Beautiful and the Intermedia Art Department at the University of Maine to design and implement this mural. We have a site in mind that we'd like to use if the Cultural Commission would approve it, and this is the Kenduskeag Pump Station. This is in previously Gomes Park in downtown Bangor. It's a highly visible site, and it's right on the confluence of the Kenduskeag Stream and the Penobscot River, so tying in those waterways as well to this visual. We also have $5,000 earmarked by Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, who want to approve this mural and fund it. They're going to be checking over it for scientific accuracy as well, as will I and my advisor. So we know that what's going out is good and accurate. So we are here today to ask the Cultural Commission's approval to paint at this site and implement this mural.
Does anybody have any questions?
Is this it?
No, that's the other one. This is the building.
I mean, just a thought, it's so important to create partnerships, right? And it's so interesting that you bring up, your project at the same time, you know, in an overlapping space to do this. So, you know, sometimes things like that can build momentum when you have 2 or 3 things happening at the same time. And then the third piece I'd bring up, is related to, you know, what Betsy Lundy's is long tried to do, which is create some connectivity between the space kind of near the Sea Dog, where some of the signs are on the trail, and downtown. And so, I just highlight that to bring it up to, you know, see if we can continue to create synergy there. And I'll kind of remind Betsy that both these things are on the table. And then the other thought was, have you talked to Kate Dickinson at the Maine Children's Museum?
No, we haven't spoken.
We are talking to them about because they're doing a stormwater street mural around their museum. So we are working with them because we just did a ground mural to. We are actively talking to her. We can see if we can tie in these two a little bit. At least get her.
It should be a great
aware of
advocate
the
for sure. If nothing else. On both projects.
First of all, this is awesome. Second of all, do you know, I saw some mention of like high schools in the proposal. Have you been in contact with any high schools yet?
We have 2 high schools, art teachers on the board. And so we'll be working with both Brewer and Bangor the students will be coming to help paint when we're ready.
And I know they've been coordinating with our wastewater department on materials and things like that. So we've been facilitating that.
After us, does permission to paint on this building have to go through anyone else? I'm assuming we don't have the power to say, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna take it to the PED, GovOps, one of the council committees. Yeah.
All right, any other questions?
You know, I would be happy to move our support for this project.
Yeah. Very good.
I second that.
Great, all in favor? Yeah, all right. And your other projects?
So our other project is a collaboration with the Abraham Lincoln Public School and Peter Walls. We have hired, so in the fall, we had the students design a pollinators garden. They talked about the importance of pollinators and what a pollinators garden is. And then the art teacher, Heidi Crayon, had the students draw pollinators and native plants and what they'd want in a mural. We showed them a video about what a mural is, and Peter Walls being a professional artist, and he's going to collaborate with the students. And so the students drew these pictures. They were then given to Peter Walls, and he created a really amazing design using a lot of the students' illustrations. He added in a few things to give it a little bit more of a cohesive look to the mural. So a lot of the drawings are actually the students' pollinators and things like that. We've primed wood pieces, 9 8x4 marine plywood pieces of wood, so they'll hold up to the weather and elements. And they've been primed twice. They were given to him, and he has put the outline of that illustration there with black on white. And then in 2 weeks' time, we have planned to work with the school, and we're going to spend a week with the students painting the mural, and the students will actually be painting the colors and the details and things like that. And then we will polyurethane it so it holds up to the weather, and then use masonry screws to attach it to the outside of Abraham Lincoln. So that's the plan.
Great. Any questions about this project?
No, I love it. I have actually in my garden those purple coneflowers and the bees love them. They love them. Like I've left them half dead just because they're still crawling all over them and they love them.
I also really love the look of these bees.
I heard they're really good.
It's really fun. Two of the bees, the ones on the top, but they like one with the eyes facing backwards, which is really fun. Are already finished and they're like 3.5 feet. So they're really, really large and it's a fun way to celebrate, students' art.
And our brand new designation as a bee city, right?
Yes.
So will the pieces be cut into shapes the way it
They're-
is near the post office?
Yeah, they are. Actually, the panels will be put together, so it'll be one big shape. And they have a little bit, as you can see the picture, he actually did this sort of fun whimsical outline. So it's got a little bit of a fun outline to it, but then there will be a few bees flying above it.
I just missed it, but is the specific ask from the Cultural Commission just support for the project, or is there a separate ask?
General support and, because it is a public building, we wanted to make sure that.
Right, it's a school building, but it's city property, so I need approval from the mural. But
The kids are gonna love it.
Yeah, they're pretty exciting.
Any other questions?
I presume that the city school board is 100% behind you.
We have we're in contact with the superintendent and the principal.
And I know Heidi personally, and believe me, she's a neat person.
Yeah.
All right,
A motion to support this project.
I'll second.
all in favor? Great, all right. And I mean, as you know, our grant cycle is coming up. We can't really officially retroactively fund projects, but the pump station one timeline, I think, would work potentially even for a spring grant. Don't think that if October 1st is too soon.
we already got one this year, so we can't do.
Oh, right,
two
you
in a
can't do the
calendar.
fall.
Yeah.
But the spring, there you go.
I asked you have down here, the installation will be in September of this month. Do you have a date that you're planning to?
Yes, for the school mural, we're hoping to install, the students should be done on the 27th of September, and we're hoping to have it up before the 1st of October.
Are you gonna have an event? An
Still
unveiling?
working with the school to figure all that out, the exact timing and things like that.
Good. Keep us posted.
Yeah.
All right. Great, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Time for my report. I have two things. One, is really a question for the city. Holly noticed that the canoe plaque was finally installed, which is really great, but the last name is spelled wrong. So we would really like to figure out a way to update that. It's Hook with an E, not Hooks. HOOKE is the artist's last name.
Okay.
Thank you. And then just an update that Sam and I have been working on the restrooms RFP, though we will touch base on that later because I think that timeline is getting delayed. So just letting you know, we have a draft, we have some questions for the commission that we're just gonna hold for right now, especially given time from today's meeting. But we will keep everyone posted on that and we'll have time for input as we go. Any questions on the financial report? Cool. We don't need to do anything, right? Great. Committee reports. The grant committee. Any updates?
We don't have anything yet. I mean, we have the due date coming up, so I assume at the next meeting there will be information. But as far as I know, the grants are open and accessible on the website. So, I mean, I would just encourage this commission to reach out to artists in your communities and get the word out that we're accepting grant applications and the due date of October 1st.
And I would also like the city to ask the city to post about it on their socials.
Absolutely.
That would be really great. All right.
Can I say something about it?
Yeah.
We had talked before about potentially having somebody, post more stuff for the committee and stuff for the city on Facebook and stuff. Like, I can do that if you need me to, but I don't have the access. And
Yes.
so something to talk about in the future or
Yeah,
whenever.
we are working on a document with login information that can be shared so that then we could designate someone if someone wants to volunteer.
Yeah,
to
if the
post
city
things.
shares it, I
Love
share
that.
it on my personal
Right.
page, but I could share it.
Yeah.
Broader that way.
Yeah. That
It
sounds
was
great.
it was my understanding that commissioners weren't allowed to have access to cities' social media accounts.
No, not the
Okay.
city one,
No,
but
but our
we
commission,
have
yeah.
a Facebook page that someone has login for, because we posted the October event documents last year. And I don't know who, I don't have that login, but someone does.
I think
Do
it's
you?
me. I have it. Yeah, I can share that.
And so then, right, if we'd like to hand that off to you, then that would be great. I have more information on that in just a minute.
Okay.
Great, thanks. Tristan's not here, cultural assets. We will need a new cultural assets chair, but we can decide that in maybe December or January, because Tristan's term is up at that point. Speaking of, if any of you have friends or colleagues who might be interested in joining the commission, I think we have a few spots that are coming available in January. Also, if you are one of the ones whose term is up, you may need to reapply, and that's a whole process through the city, so.
My term is up, but I cannot reply. I've been on too many years.
Too many years. Well, then we will just keep your chair empty. We will miss you a lot. Great, Artober, I have a lot because that's coming right up. So we'll go really fast. Our jurors are meeting on Monday. I need to touch base with you, Sarah. I need a conference room. Monday at 4 p.m. We then will not tell everybody who has been chosen because we want to keep that secret until October 1st, because we want to invite all the nominees. And we want October 1st to be the reveal. We don't want that information to get out. It should be a secret until then. We, as you know, will be having the event on October 1st at 6 p.m. at Chimera. We would love for everybody to come, bring your friends. It's a little smaller than it has been in previous years, but it's going to be a nice celebration. There will be drinks for purchase and snacks, and there's art on the walls and lots of networking possibilities, meet each other. There's lots of different artists who were nominated this year, so I'm really excited about that.
Is there a Facebook event or anything for that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Then we have drafts of, where is it? Here. Here we go. Our new slightly updated October graphics. Cute. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Clarissa has been great at making updates. She's the one who's created these last year as well. So we kept it pretty simple. We're trying to give more of our budget to grants and other things. And so we really like these graphics from last year. I think they have a little more longevity in them. So we will be printing posters, and we are updating the map. Last year, we did a trifold where one side is the map and the other side had events printed. And then immediately on October 1st, there was a storm and the Sidewalk Arts Festival got rescheduled and all those were out of date. So this year, we're just going to do maps. We've got a couple of small edits. I'm going to share all of these documents with everybody so that you can take a deeper look at them and let me know if you have any edits in the next couple of days. And then we'll do one final round. But so we've got a map that hopefully will also be a nice takeaway. People can put it on their wall. It looks really cool. I'll show you. And then, we're gonna do the poster as just an 8.5 by 11 to put downtown. We'd love some help distributing posters when we have them printed. I don't know exactly yet when that's gonna be, but hopefully between September 16th and the 20th, maybe a little earlier. I'd like it to be at least a solid week before October 1st, so that people actually see that we're having this event. We'll have the graphics sooner than that. Printing always takes a few days. So we'll be able to post on social before then. We'll also ask the city again to post it and all of those things. We are also, our October logo is on the Sidewalk Arts Festival materials. So Betsy and I have touched base about that. And then a question for the commission. The Downtown Bangor Partnership has a separate sort of organization entity, not sure exactly legally what it is, but it's the what does that stand for? BCAC, Bangor Arts and Culture and Arts, something. But they have a website. It's all about all the arts and culture things that are happening in town. She would like to, Betsy from Downtown Bangor Partnership would like to advertise October on there also. So she asked me for a graphic, a link to something which we can discuss in a second, and then intro blurb, just a blurb about October, maybe about our event. So we can collaborate on that. Maybe we can take the little event blurb from the poster. Just something to cross advertise to get more people to see it and hopefully show up. The one question I have is really what to link it to. And maybe if we do create a Facebook event, maybe that's the right place, because we can link it to the city website. We have /October. There's just not a lot of information on there. Maybe one thing we could ask the city is if we can update the page, that October page. We can take the nomination form down. We can add the event info for October 1st. And maybe we can also add the map graphic. And so from the poster, we're linking to Bangor 7th and the Downtown Bangor Partnership events calendar, because those are digital and they can be updated and people can find their events, and it is more comprehensive than what we can print. So if we could link to those also, I'm not sure if there's some sort of issue about linking to those events from the city page.
I'll find out. Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head, but I'll find out.
So I will send you all the things I just said out loud in an
exactly.
email after this meeting. And then we can make those updates. Then I think we can link to that page from BCAC. I think that then makes sense. And that way, lots of cross links and people will find hopefully all of our things and events. Sorry for the lightning pace. Any questions about that so far? Any questions about October, the Arts Award? Anything I forgot, Polly? Okay.
I don't think so.
If you do think of anything else, if you have another idea, email me. Great. So we have 2 staff updates.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to the group about the public restroom art. What process did you want to use to have that?
Oh, sure. I was under the impression that maybe that time limit is gonna get delayed quite a bit because the restrooms that are currently installed are not ADA compliant and need to be
Right, they're getting
replaced.
replaced, but they're getting
What is-
replaced now, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we are still on track?
so we can still, yeah,
Okay.
because it's gonna take time for you to,
Yes.
have the RP process and
Yeah,
make decisions and
right.
coordinate.
And when you ask about process, you mean for installing or for the steps in the project?
Well, the steps of the project, like
Okay.
choosing you know, the artist or, you know, whatever it is that you wanna
Sure.
see happen there.
Yeah, so, like I mentioned earlier, we are working on the RFP, so since we're not as delayed as I thought we would be, I will share a link to that with the whole commission. It's just a Google Doc right now. There's lots of open questions in it, and we will put an item on the agenda for October to discuss that in a little more detail. But I think we can be adding and answering questions or adding input in that doc over the next month. And then we'd like to publish that RFP ideally shortly after. Probably have, I don't know, a mid-November-ish deadline for submissions.
Yeah, the city has a process
yeah.
that will take, you know, whatever you've put together and, you know, put it in sort of the city format and, yeah, usually we give about a month.
Okay, perfect. And then ideally, we'll take a month or so, because we'll need an actual meeting to decide.
Right.
On who we might want to award. I think we might have to keep it open for now to see if we want to award one person or group each of the bathrooms. I think we're starting with one or two, right?
Yeah.
Or if it's, we award two different people or two different groups, and we'd like to keep it open to individuals or groups. We'd love to prioritize someone who's working with students, but it also sounds like there's several other projects happening at the moment that involves local high school students, so I think maybe we can be a little bit more open and see what we get.
So is there a budget for that? I'm wondering about an honorarium or such.
Yep, I asked the city manager about that and they are sort of looking to you to you know, to tell us what you think is reasonable
Okay.
for a budget.
Yeah, that's one of the questions we have in the RFP that we'd love to discuss. I think an honorarium beyond materials would be the right approach. Because murals take time. If you're involving students, it takes a lot of coordination, like there's stuff that we should be paying for. But we can think about what the right budget is.
But we do assume the implementation will happen in the spring.
Yes. Yep.
Realistically.
I think timeline wise, it'll be. I still would like to, and I do need to talk to some more experts about this, but I'd like to paint it actually the way they're doing the Abe Lincoln one, which is on wood panels that will then be attached to the bathroom. So then we can figure out the exact dimensions with Parks and Rec, maybe to see what makes sense, what's possible, maybe what's ideal. I don't know if that's gonna end up being one on one side or panels on either side or something like that. We have a lot of open questions, but they're all in the draft as questions.
So many
right now.
questions in the
So many
draft.
questions. And so we'd like to just keep working on that. But yeah, then we award maybe in January, we announce the selection. And then they have a few months to create, and then we install after the frost, like May-ish, June-ish, sometime around then, when we can also have an event.
Are we suggesting a theme or it's just open?
I don't know, what do you think?
I don't want to come up with. a theme, but, you know, it would be nice. You know, a broad theme.
Right?
I think it's cool that they're removable on panels, because like every year you could have new artists and new, you know what I mean? If it's a frame, like, for example, what they're doing at Abraham Lincoln, then every year you could have different submissions and change the artwork out. Like, I think that's a great idea. I don't know if I just added more questions.
Maybe, yeah, no, what I was picturing is a more permanent
Okay.
installation, like a wood panel, not in a frame.
Yeah.
Though the Pickering Park one, that is more interchangeable.
Yeah.
And budget wise, I don't know that we'll have budget or capacity to replace these.
Okay.
But the nice thing about the wood thing is if they need to be fixed,
They
that's
can-
easier.
Gotcha.
And just also those walls are like corrugated almost, and so painting on that
Yeah.
gets really complicated.
Yeah.
So painting on wood is just easier then painting that metal.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you said themes or whatever,
Mhm.
they can be two. We have more, the one across the library, my brain just went, oh my good library. Sitting in comfy chairs, reading books.
Yeah, it could be contextual to the location, yeah.
Yeah, we could ask for that, or we could leave it open and
I realize that I mean,
prioritize.
there's one going right across from the library. Barbara, I'm surprised you didn't say something like that.
I feel like a general, like if we wanted to do a theme, I think just like a general theme of community, like say like.
Right, yeah.
This is your theme word and then see what they come up with, cause I wouldn't want, especially if they're doing it with a class, I wouldn't wanna do it like. You have to do X, Y, and Z thing.
Yeah, I
Give them a little
agree.
Flexibility.
And I think this has been a pretty divisive project for the city, that I think community would be a really nice theme for those walls. And right, then it's open to interpretation, but it also does imply the location a little bit and the connection to our city. Great. It is 9:30. But I know we still have a Pickering car.
Just one other thing is, and this can go to next, month, is the kiosk. As part of the Pickering Square Park. And, yeah, we'd like to work with you at, again, to find what kind of art, coordinating the art that would go into that kiosk. One of the months we might use it from the city as, a way to talk about like stormwater, how in the Penobscot, we might use it as an information tool, but it would be good to have it be more focused other months on art, maybe 1 month is like a city.
So one person would have access to changing things out or how?
Yeah, we would work through, engineering public works to help us, put to place things there. And we put this back in your packet.
Yeah, let's read through this and for next time and discuss more. What's the timeline? When will these be ready?
Well, it's under construction right now, so again, realistically, probably spring.
Okay,
of
great. So we've
next
got a
year,
little-
so again, if we start now, kind of planning for it,
Yep.
then you'll be ready.
And are they waterproof? Like if you put paper in there, is it gonna get ruined or will it
On
be
the
fine?
inside, I don't know, let me find out more about
Okay.
that.
Great. Yeah, I'd love to know a little bit more information. So that we, as we put together maybe an RFP or just a call for submissions or monthly themes or something that we can tell people what types of materials we recommend putting in there. Okay. Great.
So I just made the public restroom doc open to comment for anyone who has the link. So if you can't edit it directly, that's on purpose.
Yep. And right, we've had quite a few comments and back and forth of
You'll see it
questions,
all.
answers. I will share the link right after, sometime today. Sometime today. We'll send you that. I'll send you the October graphics with a deadline for when to send me edits. And I will follow up with you, Sarah, with all the things. Cool.
Excellent.
I adjourn the meeting. Great. Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.